Um, Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alex Leon. I oversee the Airport Planning and Development Group at both O'Hare and Midway airports. I'll get started with the presentation. Okay. So, are we using the old one? I think it's an older one. Here. You may have gotten the old one.
Sorry guys, we could wait a couple seconds.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Sorry about that. I think she got the last one last time we were here. So we want to give you the latest and greatest.
And we have your email, so I'll make sure that I email this to everyone who signed in.
Okay. All right. Let's get started. Okay. So we recently unveiled our O'Hare 21 or our O'Hare 21 program, or the new lease agreement, which some of you guys may have seen in the newspaper. That's a $8.5 billion program. I'll go ahead and briefly describe the various components of that O'Hare 21 program. Hotels, we'll have one redevelopment and 2 new hotels on airport. They were not part of the lease agreement. We weren't that far into development, so we didn't have firm numbers on those. So those were off eventually within the next few months, and we'll have more information on the hotels. So it's the renovation of the Hilton Hotel, existing Hilton, the new hotel at Terminal 5, and then the land lease at the near the multimodal, which will be mixed-use hotel and airport. There's certain components of the OMP that were not funded that are now funded as part of the new lease agreement, so I'll highlight some of those projects. And then we have obviously our ongoing CIP program. That's the $2.4 billion program that was funded over the course of the 15 years, but we'll have additional programs additional projects as we go on that will add, and obviously that number is going to grow. The terminal area development, that's the main feature. That's $6.1 billion, and that focuses on the O'Hare Global Terminal and the satellite concourses. And so that program is focused on growth at the airport and also redeveloping some of our older facilities. As part of this agreement, there's also the Terminal 5 improvements. Terminal 5 will be converted to from a predominantly international facility to more of a domestic over the next 5 years. We're going to spend about $1 billion, just under $1 billion in improvements there in that facility. Okay. Can you change? Yeah, next one. Okay, so this highlights the real estate for terminal growth for the TAP. As you can see there's over 400 acres available for the gate expansion. The yellow highlighted area, 100 acres, that's our runway 15, old runway 1533. That was decommissioned about a month ago. So that right now is used for taxiway. Eventually that'll get demolished, and we'll build the satellite concourses. This is a rendering of what we envision the satellite concourses and the global terminal would look like. Obviously, our crown jewel is going to be Terminal 2. That's our most aging facility. So that facility will come down and make way for the terminal and the global terminal and the additional gates. Then going to the left, you have Satellite Concourse 1, which will tie into the C Concourse, and then Satellite number 2, which will be independent. Go ahead. In order to facilitate this growth, we'll have several procurements that we'll need in order to build the program, the 8.5 and plus $1 billion program. So one of those is the lead designer, the lead architect designers, and that group will be in charge of building the OGT and the satellite concourses, satellite concourse 1 and 2. Duration for that is 8 years, mainly the same duration as the program, 2026, when we anticipate delivery. This is set to advertise soon, second quarter we hope to get it out, and then award date of second quarter of 2019. Another new procurement that we will need in order to build the TAP is the lead civil engineer. This group will be tasked with setting the grades for that 400 plus acres. There'll be some tunnel expertise involved with that, as we need to build tunnels, which will eventually be the airport people mover in satellite and in subsequent phases of the TAP. That's not funded yet, but we'll build the tunnel, and then additional utilities. So that one is the same. It's an 8-year program, and we anticipate advertising in third quarter, and with an award of first quarter of 2019. This is a new contract. We haven't had this contract recently, but we're bringing it back. This is for target market construction management services. This group will support enabling projects. The anticipated term would be 5 years, and we expect to have this advertised in the third quarter of 2018, and then an award date of second quarter of 2019. We'll also have target market design task orders. I believe that one's already out. That one was out last year, second quarter. This is also going to work on enabling projects for OHIR 21 and the CIP programs. And projects include airside, landside work, support services. And that one right now is under review in procurement. So we anticipate fourth quarter of 2018 award. This is another contract that's currently out, and this will also support the OHIR 21 projects and the CIP projects. Again, projects will include airside, landside support projects, terminal support projects. Anticipated term of this contract is 5 years. It was advertised last year, and we anticipate a award of second quarter of 2018, which is a bit aggressive, but maybe not. Terminal 5, this is a rendering. Again, I mentioned $1 billion infrastructure improvement in T5. Starting from the right is the building extension, building the 9 gates. Those gates will serve primarily international, some of the wide bodies, some of the bigger jets. But we, in future phases, will give ourselves the flexibility to down gauge to the smaller jet fleet as this terminal becomes a domestic and international facility. We'll also have some roadway improvements, as you can see there, and that's to accommodate the O&D passengers. So right now we have a lot of arriving international passengers. They go through the FIS, through the Customs and Border Protection, and then they make their connecting flight in the terminals. So now this is going to be more of an origin, so you'll have more passengers coming in, and that's the reason for the additional roadway improvements. Parking garage as well, too. When you have O&D passengers, you want covered parking. So we'll build a parking garage, also the hotel. That'll be a new amenity to improve the passenger experience at T5, and then some sort of curbside expansion to deal with the crowding on the roadways. Okay. This project this contract CM at risk is currently in negotiations. One of the respondents will be released to work on the T5 expansion, but the remaining respondents that are selected will work on the TAP and some of the other terminal facilities. We're working diligently. We hope to get this awarded in the second quarter of 2018. This highlights, obviously, the support, the need for this for the gate expansion. This creates additional swing space, 9 gates. It allows us to move some of the micro carriers, some of the smaller carriers over to this facility in order to build some of the Global Terminal 2 and the satellite concourses. One of the key projects for the Terminal 5 extension is the civil portion. That one is at 100% design, so this will we anticipate advertising within the next month or so, in the hopes of awarding earlier this year or late this year, early next year, as we allow the building design to progress to 100%. So this is going to be one of our next key procurements. Okay. On the O'Hare modernization side, the key feature of this program is a 9-center, 27-center runway. We have several packages. It was broken up due to the complexity. We have airline facilities that we had to move out of the way. Some FAA nav aids, so that's the reason why this project was broken up. The last and final remaining portion of this project, I believe, is package number 3. So this one is highlighted here. We anticipate getting this out in third quarter of 2018. It's a DBE project, and price range is between $40 to $60 million. Okay. Central Basin reconfiguration. This is a new project that was funded. It's an enabling project to the Alpha Bravo relocation, but it's an enabling project, and it was funded as part of the new lease agreement. We anticipate to have this out fourth quarter of 2018. Its estimated value is 100 to 120 million. What is not shown here is that this one we anticipate will be design build project. Relocation of taxiway Alpha Bravo, that's currently in design. There's 2 portions of it. What you see at the lower end of the image in orange, that's critical to the TAP. So that more than likely will be released as the first package, and subsequent packages will be the north-south highlighted in orange. This one right now is a placeholder, so we're hoping to get this out second quarter of 2018. Some of the packaging might be broken out, but this is the best information we currently have. One of the final components is the ATS, as we extend the ATS out to the multimodal facility. Our new multimodal facility that will open up October 31st of this year is the demolition of Lot E Station. This one we anticipate will go out fourth quarter of 2018, and it's part of the runway package, so it's a DBE. Midway Airport, we have our airfield lighting infrastructure improvements. Anticipated advertisement date, we're hoping to get this one out. This one's very close. It's $8 to $10 million, and obviously it's electrical work, and there's some other laborers and Teamsters involved. It's a federal DBE project. Also at Midway is the airport maintenance complex improvements, the AMC. This one we hope to get out soon as well too. It's ready. Estimated contract is 11 to 15, and it's also tied to DBE. There's a bit more trades, a bit more of the building trades involved in this project. On the residential sound, on the environment side, this is for our on-call A&E services to support the residential sound program. This is federally funded, so it's DBE. The anticipated term is 5 years. We hope to get this advertised this year, within the next month or so, and then an anticipated award of fourth quarter of 2018. Another one on the environment side. This is O'Hare Phase 17 historical homes. We anticipate advertising in the fourth quarter of 2018, 10 to 15 million. It's also a DBE component of it, and some trades, some building trades as well are involved in this. Hold on. No, go to the next one. Okay. On the capital improvement side, I'll have Jeff run through some of his projects that he's involved.
How's it going? My name is Jeffrey White-Tank. I'm with CDA. I'm a civil engineer. And I'm here to talk about our O'Hare CIP, Capital Improvement Program projects. First one we got up, we have runway 9 right, 27 left, runway status light installation. The key factors about this one is it's located airside. It's a federally funded project, so expect DBE participation. And it's included 10,000 linear feet of duct bank, a shelter for the FAA cabling, as well as some ComEd duct banks north of the runway. We're anticipated second quarter of 2018. Next one. We have Miami Beach Lift Station. At O'Hare, we like to name some of our lift stations after nice places like Miami Beach. I'm not sure who started that. This includes demolition of the current lift station, as well as a tunneling, a jacking under the lower level roadway to limit impacts to our pedestrians and travelers, and building of a new dry-wet system to help alleviate a lot of the problems we had with the full wet-on lift station we had before. This is at 100% design. We're looking at a second quarter 2018, and has lots of trades involved. Baggage service road retaining wall repair. This project is located airside. It's the whole service road, baggage road that circles the core area of O'Hare, where all our baggage and tugs drive through. We have the guard post right there that shows you, and it's excluding Terminal 2, as it is scheduled for demolition. This is just repairing the concrete footing that's there in the wall. We're anticipated second quarter 2018, and there's also a lot of labor tradesmen involved in this as well. Ring utility tunnel concrete repairs. This is phase 2 of this project. This is just concrete repairs throughout the utility tunnel, and this is heavily with utility relocation and a lot of coordination with all the utilities down in our utility tunnel, and with some minor beam repair or concrete repair. Phase 2 is at 100% design, and we're looking to get that bid out in this third quarter of this year. Along with the utility tunnels, we're looking to repair the pedestrian tunnels, and this is more of an architectural repair, and also there's a lot of water infiltration that's occurring in our pedestrian tunnels. We're hoping to update that and fix all those issues we have with drainage, as well as update lighting systems and architecture throughout the tunnel. This is at 100% design, and we're looking to bid this out in third quarter of 2018. I-190 lift station. This is airside, not landside like Miami Beach. This is a key lift station for O'Hare. This, as you can see in this picture, you have the 2 taxiway bridges, and this prevents flooding under those bridges. It's a low point on I-190, which is basically our artery that goes into O'Hare. This is at 100% design. We're looking to do this. We're doing some minor design work, but we're looking to have this opening in first quarter of next year. Replacement of rotunda air handling units. This is I believe this is airside and landside. This is 11 rotunda air handling units when their duct work, as well as co-complying units that will serve environments that require different temperature controls. This is at 100% design. We're looking to schedule this in the next few months for anticipated award. A recirculation bridge. This is the bridge that is part of the recirculation for all traffic that goes around the upper level roadway and lower level. This is also right above the entrance to the elevated parking structure in the core area. This is a 3-span entrance roadway recirculation bridge that needs to be demolished and replaced while leaving a access for the fire department as well as travelers going into the parking structure. This is at 9% design. We're looking at a fourth quarter or first quarter of next year advertising date. Then on to the O&M term contracts we have at O'Hare. The first one, biggest one, is the airside ramp replacement term contract. This is inclusive of all concrete for all the gate areas at O'Hare, as well as all concrete crushing from all the concrete taken out of those gates. All this work is coordinated with CDA as well as the airlines. All work is done at night. 2018 work includes gates K19L1, and the major one we're doing right now is the taxi lane behind Concourse G. And expected for next year when this contract should be awarded is 2 international gates as well as several gates that Spirit currently occupies. We're looking at second quarter or next few months of this year to be awarded, and all MWE, and it's MBE, WBE certified, but those percentage will be awarded later. Coinciding with that, there is a smaller airside concrete term contract, which says minor repairs. This is a 5-year term contract, just minor concrete-only repairs. Again, work area is coordinated with CDA and the airlines. A lot of this is inclusive of the FAA certification work we do at O'Hare, which happens every year and is very important to keeping our airport being an airport. So they do a lot of work at night, and it's a lot of water main repair work and concrete panel replacement throughout the airfield. Looking at the same kind of timeline for the next few months, anticipated advertising date, and again, WBE, MBE award. We go to our asphalt patching term contract, similar 5-year term. This one's just asphalt patches and grindings and grooving of surfaces throughout the O'Hare and, just O'Hare. This is all airside and landside. Work areas determined by CDA and the FAA based on certification. Same with the concrete maintenance. Work is done at day and night, but basically to limit impacts to airplane traffic. This is anticipated for the second quarter of 2018, and we only have over $20 million. They didn't have the exact number for the engineer's estimate yet, but we have over $20 million at least. We have, coinciding with that, we have pavement joint sealing term contract, another 5-year term contract. All this work is to be dealt with the FAA certification work, which is vital for O'Hare to keep their certification and to keep being an airport. All these term contracts need to be great and functioning to keep our O'Hare working. And 2018 work included for this was a runway joint sealing for 9 left. For 2019, we have plans to do runway 10 center, 28 center. This is anticipated for second quarter of 2018. Another one we use a lot is for the rubber removal term contract. This one has nothing to do mainly with the FAA certification, but is involved with our friction numbers and keeping our runways a certain category and certain level to allow planes to land on them. They do all work is done at night, and they're on a at will, so they have to come and do the work whenever we ask them to maintain our runways to be safe and secure for all the airplanes that land on them. They were anticipated for later this year, and anticipated award date, and that's it for me. Anything else you want to say? Do you want to do questions now? We'll share. Well, thank you for listening to our presentation. I think we're going to hand it over to questions now.
We'll do Q&A now, so raise your hand and then I'll come over with the mic so whoever's watching online can hear your question and they can have the answer ready for you. Any questions up front? Oh, I'll start.
Okay, where you said you had, I think it was Miami Beach or another project that was 100% designed, Is the environmental included in that, or where does that fit in? Or is that part of the RFP response, environmental?
The environmental impacts, I believe, are part of the contractor's RFP response.
Okay, thank you.
How are these jobs advertised? Is it through the DPS?
Yes, everything's advertised through DPS, and then we piggyback off of their alerts. So they'll send out an alert, and if you go to flychicago.com, whenever we advertise anything through DPS, we'll pull a link together. So if you, you could do either way if you want to register, but you could also register at flychicago.com or .org.
Thank you. 2 questions. Are the slides that you gave going to be made available electronically? Because I noticed that what was printed is not what we were looking at.
Yeah.
We said it at the beginning of the class. We didn't realize that was going on. But if you signed in and your name is on there, we'll make sure that you get that emailed. I'm going to try to have someone bring up some hard copies before you guys leave today, and then we'll also update it on our website.
And second question, a lot of these say second quarter of 2018. Today's May 17th. 6 weeks left.
Correct.
So there's a lot more coming up. When are those going to be posted, I guess, is the question.
A lot of these procurements are currently with DPS, and so we're ready to advertise. But again, they could slip into the third quarter. But we understand. I mean, a lot of these they're ready.
On their way.
Put it on Chris. He's got a.
Everything will be on,
I think with the exception of the A&Es, which I believe are taking a bit longer, I think for the most part everything is there. It's ready.
Another question. Just to become familiar with the process, like the 11 Rotunda air handling units, is that going to be an open solicitation to any respondent, or do they have to be in, so to speak, the toolbox or something like that to put forward a
All of
proposal?
those are construction. Yeah, those are all construction.
Okay.
So it'll be designed. That means that they've already been designed.
Okay.
Anyone back here? Any other questions? You guys did such a good job. Oh, we got one more.
Sorry.
Can you explain maybe what your design build process is going to be for the Central Basin? You mentioned, I don't think you've done necessarily design build at O'Hare as much before. Maybe if you could maybe just summarize it, or a quick summary of how
Design build process, or the Central Basin?
The Central Basin, related. You said it was going to be design build, so just wanted to see if you could shed any more light on this.
So in general, very high level, we need to, as part of the TAP, the Central Basin needs to be relocated. We need to fill that space, somehow convey that into the South Basin, right? And so what we're putting together now is what that procurement will look like for design build. So as far as the details, I don't have the details, but in general, we need to find conveyance to the South Basin from that portion, those 400 acres.
You're saying basically that conceptual plan is being done now, and will be taken from there. Okay.
Exactly, and this was recently funded as part of the $8.5 billion. So it's very high level. We need to pre-fill. It's on the critical path. We need to preload or do some sort of dynamic compaction to accelerate in order to facilitate us building Alpha Bravo and I believe Eclipse, one of the terminals, satellite concourse 2. As far as the details, we're not there yet.
Just to add, so is that under preliminary design at the moment?
Is that what?
Is it under preliminary design at the moment?
Our master civil, I believe, is working on up to 10% or bridging documents. So that's where it's at.
Thank you.
Please may I ask, how are you tackling the sustainability element of the airports? Is that going to be done by the lead designers? Will you be looking to release things, for example, for geothermal battery storage, CHP potentially. How are you guys going to tackle that?
What I can tell you is that as part of our estimate, when we put together this plan, we did not price lead into the budget. The lead architect does have language for goals associated with both lead and the SAM manual. So again, this is very high level planning now, and until we get to those procurements, we'll be able to give better definition as to what those requirements are.
Anyone else?
Sorry, I believe tomorrow is the day that the solicitations are due for the O'Hare Express Link project. Where does that land within the TAP area?
The O'Hare Express train. That is handled by the mayor's office, and I believe the CIT is a lead agency.
But it lands somewhere in Terminal 2, which is what you're planning. So is it designated, spaced out?
You'd have to
pass down.
You'd have to talk
CIT,
to
is that
CIT.
the Chicago Infrastructure Trust?
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah,
And I believe they have their own website and they have information on there. We are not the lead agency, but we understand there's interfaces with the airport.
Anyone else? No? All right. So before you guys leave, they are going to be bringing hard copies up here. You're willing to stay for that copy. Otherwise, if you're on the list and signed in, I'll make sure that I email that to you as well. And then the next one, they have a total of 4 that aviation is teaching. And the next one, if you would like to come back for that one for a refresher on what's coming up in that for that quarter moving forward, will be August 16th at 3:30 here in the same room. So that will be that next workshop with aviation, and then their last one for the year is November 15th. And if you're unable to come, we do live stream these, but you'll be able to watch it online. It'll just be harder for you to ask your questions because we don't take them online. But that's about it, so thank you so much.
Thank you.